Hello, welcome. I'm a hot mess already, and we haven't even started. Um, this is Realms of Pugmire Unleashed to support actual play to support Realms of Pugmire Unleashed, the book. It's currently funding on Backerkit, and I should have really had that link ready. So while Alan, why don't you introduce yourself and stuff like that while I find the link for the Backerkit campaign?
So I'm Anangela, my pronouns are he, him. I did a lot of community content creation for the various on its past game lines. So I have a couple of products on Canis Minor. I have two pets, two cats, and they like to come near me, so you might see them on stream tonight.
Fantastic, Bliss. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Bliss Steele. My pronouns are she, her. I at one point did spicy streaming of video games. I am on hiatus right now. But if you'd like to go to blisssteele.com, you can, as long as you're over 18. Um, and I also have cats, but they don't really come around very often. They're on the bed.
They're in the comfy spot.
Yeah.
Josie.
Uh, Hi, I'm Josie, pronouns they, them. I am also a hot mess as me and Ren are moving. And I have never played a single minute of Pugmire in my life, but I have a plush cat, not a real one.
And Ren, please introduce yourself. Last but certainly not least, I would like to point that out right now.
Hi, my name is Ren. I also have never played Pugmire before, but I have played other games that probably look the same, have the same feeling. And my only pet at the moment is Josie.
Fantastic. And I am Ryan. I also go as ComradeBubbles in chat and on the Discord server. I'm a moderator for this channel, so please do behave. I am also a contributing writer on to the book Pugmire Unleashed. I handled all of the monsters, converting some monsters from first edition material and a handful of wholly new original monsters for Realms of Pugmire. For those who are watching and are not familiar with some terminology, well, I'll run through it really quickly. First edition of the game was called Pugmire because that was the first book that was released, followed by Curious Cats of Mao, no, Monarchies of Mao, and Squeaks in the Deep as their own core books. This was changed for second edition. Realms of Pugmire is now the core book, and there have been crowdfunding campaigns, for Curious Cats of Mao. I think that's the only one that's happened so far. And right now, obviously, running is Pugmire Unleashed. Pugmire Unleashed is a player guide. It's full of extra world information, full of player options, and will hopefully be, as well as some adventures, and we'll be demonstrating some, but not all of it, throughout this short actual play. The campaign runs for, I believe, another 3 weeks. So if you do like what you see or hear us discussing in today's session 0, or see throughout the next two sessions, please do consider backing it. It is tariff free. It is hey Corbin, you back for the PDF at one tier, and you back for the PDF and at cost print on demand code at another tier. So you don't get hit by tariffs, because that's the whole thing that's affecting the entire industry right now. That was a hot mess of an explanation. I do apologise for that, but hopefully it was easy enough to follow. Elevator pitch for the Realms of Pugmire is what if D&D but dogs, slash cats, slash rodents, slash badgers now, but not just badgers. And it's as cozy or as horrific a post-apocalyptic fantasy that we want to make it, and that will be part of the discussion we'll be having for today's session 0. It uses first edition used the OGL 5e OGL rules. Realms of Pugmire uses Onyx 20, which is still a D20 based system, but a lot of stuff's been overhauled. Eddie did a phenomenal work with the encounter maths behind the scenes, so that everything feels as challenging as you want it to, as the guide, which is this game's word for GM. So, this being a session 0, I hurriedly threw together a cool acronym of CITED to go through before we even make characters. So, safety tools. I did distribute I hope I distributed a consent checklist for my players to fill out. That will be a living document for the entirety of the actual play. And if anything does come up that was not in that document, I do have the Zoom chat open at all times. So if you just hit the X and then enter to substitute with the X card, as we're not face to face, that will tell me that you want to stop what we're doing. And then if given no other prompt, I'll just like fast forward to the next relevant bit. If you would like to rewind from what we're discussing, please let me know and we'll figure out how far back you want things to go. Unstable dice, Smilodons are not our friends. So those are the safety tools. If there are any other safety tools you would like me to use, now is the time to mention them. Fantastic. For those not familiar, the consent checklist is roughly analogous to Lines and Veils, which is another safety tool feature. It's just ranking ranking several topics by I'm okay with this, but deal with it off screen, and I'm not okay with this, do not touch this subject in any way, shape, or form. So I'm using that to inform all of the planning that I'll be doing after this session 0. That was the S. The I incited. This one was a stretch, I admit. Information. Just a general overview of the game as we're playing it. So the elevator pitch. A group of heroes fresh from defeating a threat to the realms and the wider world are returning home when they find themselves trapped in a long-lost ruin. Can they survive the dangers within the darkness and within their hearts and find their way home again? This was just because I wanted something to throw at people to get their interest in the game. If, through the course of the session 0, our discussion raises more interesting ideas, I will ignore the elevator pitch entirely and go with what you want to do. It's not my game, it's our game. We'll be using Realms of Pugmire for this, and it'll be about 4 sessions, including this session 0. There may be an epilogue if you want one, but it's up to you. The T is tone, the usual tone I aim for when I'm thinking about Pugmire, because I've run it once, I think, on stream. Light-hearted with some elements of suspense and violence. We can make it as cozy and as comfortable or as horrific as you want. The general setting information is that we are so far in the future that humankind uplifted animals and then peaced out. No one knows why. No one knows what happened to humanity. And the animals are in a pseudo medieval fantasy world, rediscovering relics of the past, which is advanced science, but as Arthur C. Clarke famously said, any sufficiently advanced science is indistinguishable from magic. So it's all magic to the people of the realms. This does mean that we can go hard on things like gene splicing and sci-fi horror aspects, or we can have it as cozy. You're just a group of animal adventurers going out and saving the day. What are you all feeling? As I said, the default is light-hearted with some elements of suspense and violence.
I like default. I think, we're doggies. It's cute. Should be cute.
Okay.
Yeah, default works for me as well, quite well. I do a lot of games which are quite heavy on the, let's say, horror or moral dilemma. So I'm fine doing something more, let's say, less intensive in terms of emotional violence, let's say.
Yep, I can work with that. And Scarred Lands, heavy on moral dilemmas. What?
I agree with Alain. I think we have all played, even on this channel, our fair share of emotional damage. So
Yup.
why not spice it up just like the tiniest little bit and show that we are capable of emotion other than dread and despair?
Fantastic.
How can you not have emotional violence when all the violence in this game will be violence on animals?
Humanoid animals, you're not going to be playing as canines feline squeakers, etc. Yep, that works for me. It's, you know, it requires less heavy lifting on my end with mechanics and things, and as this is an actual play to promote a crowdfunding campaign, I will try to explain things as we go. I'll try to point out where things I'm doing aren't necessarily rules as written or homebrew, and of course I'll clear any homebrew with my players before we even start, you know, live at a session, or take like a quick aside to be like, hey, you okay if I homebrew this, and then we'll work from there. The E is expectations. These are my 3 main expectations. That you as players will respect each other's time and abilities. If someone's not feeling it and just wants to be quiet, please don't force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. Second one, that you'll respect my time and ability as guide. I don't mind people questioning my interpretation of the rules, but if it leads to like a protracted, well, the rules say this, and it disagrees with you as the guide for X, Y, Z, I will just make a ruling to keep the game going, and I'm happy to have a further ruling discussion after the game. Now, as most of you have not played this game before, I don't anticipate that being a problem, but just like keep it, I don't mind you questioning rules or asking for clarification, but if we get into a protracted discussion about rulings or God's forbidden argument, I will shut it down until after the session, and then we can figure things out in private, because no one needs to see that. And 3, if there are any problems, emotional bleed, or anything else that impacts your enjoyment of the game or mental health, please do let me know. Like, obviously, that one is I can't make you do it. But if I'm doing something that is making you feel bad, I need to know, because this is a game where everyone should be having fun. Are there any expectations as players that you have of me or of each other?
Not really. Maybe just if I am a bit silent or like feel like I'm out of the game a bit, it doesn't mean I'm not enjoying myself, but I sometimes have a tendency to enjoy the others' role playing and then forget that I'm playing myself. So just kick me back into the game.
I am absolutely of the same mindset when I'm a player, so do not worry, Ren. I completely understand. If there are no other expectations, now the D, development, which is the rest of the session's error. So we'll start with character creation, and then once your characters are made, I have 2 questions for you: what you want to see in the game and what you want me to include to showcase your character, because, hey, your characters are badasses, they're adventurers, they're heroes of the realms. I should provide you situations to prove that. So, character creation. I need to pull up the right PDF. If you have the Realms of Pugmire PDF open, it is basically the entirety of chapter 31. But for the sake of structure, because just saying here's a whole chapter, if you go to page 31, there is a sidebar that explains the different steps of character creation. Starts with choosing an upbringing and a family. Upbringings are your... well, it's kind of what it sounds like. It's how you were brought up. It determines some in-game mechanics, as well as kind of like how other people may react to you. Specifically, it gives you an attribute bonus and your first trick in this. What are called feats in other 5e games are called tricks, because you're dogs. So yes, so that's on page 31 in the rulebook, in the core rulebook, and then the Pugmire Unleashed does include options for playing non-dogs, if anyone does particularly want to. There are the Badger clans, and which I know certain members of the Onyx Path team are extremely excited about. And there are also birds and I believe lagomorphs and reptiles. Lagomorphs, for people who do not know, are rabbits and hares. If any of those are piquing your interest. If you need to tune me out on Zoom, I talk to fill the dead air because it's a stream. So I will be monitoring chat and answering questions while my players are looking through text. And if any of my players have questions, please do feel free to ask.
So with family, you're just probably just picking the race of your dog, and just can pick anything you want, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, so you could be like a companion and be from the spaniel family or things of that nature, if that was what you meant.
I have a feeling I know what
I'm gonna-
family you're going for, and
I'm gonna be a Saint Bernard.
That's fair.
Like with
alcoholism.
a little keg of beer around my neck. Upbringing mutt, background criminal.
It's important to note that in the first edition, your breed was what determined your mechanical stuff, whereas in this edition, family is more of a narrative thing, and it's how you were raised. So you could be, if you wish to. So obviously, like Sambel now is huge, right? They're really strong. But if you wanted to be a runner, you could have been raised as a runner and still and get that mechanical side of things.
I'm gonna bring the mutt upbringing.
Cool. And if you are playing a dog character, there are extra dog callings. We can get onto that later in Pugmire Unleashed. I've just seen a question: does the Lagomorph have a Luger like in Sam and Max? I mean, gunpowder rules are in Pugmire Unleashed, Awkward GM. Just saying. As you can maybe tell from the firearm image above me.
So family is not like a set list in the book, but just like the breeds of.
Yeah, so if it was
worlds.
a breed, it's generally been adopted as a name,
Okay.
and dogs adopt as well. So you could, like, we could see an animal and be like, "Hey, that's a Papillon," but it's an Alsatian. Their family is Alsatian. If that makes sense.
I'm actually thinking of playing a reptile.
Okay.
Because I mean it's there in the new book and it's quite fun.
For sure.
One of my characters that I'm playing in our running campaign had some pet lizards when she started, but she lost them, so I'm a bit nostalgic about them in a way.
There's plenty of evidence out there that the first character people make in Pugmire is a pet that's passed over the Rainbow Road, so to speak.
Yeah. So I probably play a lizard, yes.
Fantastic. Reptiles are nomadic storytellers.
Yeah.
For people who are not as familiar with the lore. Also, far less concerned about being a good dog for obvious reasons.
I could do something incredibly cursed.
I don't want to know the answer, but I also want to know what you have in mind.
Ryan, do you know what borzoi are?
Oh, I absolutely know what borzoi are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Why the long face?
Yep, no, I was waiting for that. The dogs that just got stretched. But they look so normal when they're puppies.
I'm
And they
not
just like
sure.
take the Photoshop tool when they grow up. New.
Oh, it's a kind of sausage dog.
I'm going to send you a picture of a borzoi, Ala, and you can decide for yourself.
They are really strange looking.
I'll put it in the Pugmire General for shits and giggles.
I've never understood how they hunt wolves.
Oh, it's that one. Okay. Oh. Cute face.
They are
Cute little head.
long.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not compensating for my lack of height in real life.
So, borzoi, I'm just going to say St. Bernard so I don't overpronounce any accents. A reptile, What kind of reptile were you thinking, Alan? Oh.
I was thinking lizard because
Okay.
they can cut their own tail, and I find this trick just fantastic.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's
Tail drop.
it's really fun to play.
Bliss, any ideas on your upbringing?
I'm gonna be a runner, free dog, and my family is Pyrenees because my brother has a Pyrenees mix and he's a very good boy.
Absolutely fair. I forgot to ask. I assume you'll have access to a character sheet of some kind. I believe there is a PDF one out there.
We have been provided a fillable character sheets by
Fantastic.
Travis
Amazing.
normally.
Phenomenal. Oh, my PDF refused to open for a moment there. That was hard stopping. So with your upbringing and family, the next step is choose a background, which is exactly what it is in certain other D20 based systems. It is what you did before you became an adventurer. Now, typically, and we can probably go with this because 3 of you are playing dogs, dog characters will be part of Pan's Pioneers, which is like a state-sponsored adventuring organization. So it's kind of like the job you did before you joined the Pioneers, or the job that you do on the weekends, or in whatever time you have when you're not questing. There are other organizations. I've opened the wrong... I opened my D&D folder for some reason, and that's why I couldn't find the Pugmire rulebook to open a second instance of it. Cats have a similar thing, Trillianis Trailblazers, but it's got a slightly different remit. So there is a list of backgrounds in the core book, and would you believe there are new backgrounds in Pugmire Unleashed as well?
Wow.
I know.
So you got any recommendations for a wizard borzoi?
For a wizard borzoi, please bear with me while I frantically click through.
So I can give other dogs long faces.
I mean, Sage is your typical kind of wizard background. Gives you the skills no arcana and no history. A magnifying glass and some common clothes in your rucksack. A few coins and the trick nearby expert, because backgrounds give you 2 skill proficiencies, 2 like starting items, an amount of coins. Realms of Pugmire does not bother itself with I have 5 gold pieces, I have 10 gold pieces. You have a lot of coins, many coins, some coins, a few coins, or no coins. It's also worth pointing out that plastic is the material of the currency in the realms, because it is a wonder material that man left behind in bountiful deposits. I think Eddie was trying to say something. And also it gives you, much like your upbringing, it gives you a starting, it gives you a trick unique to that background. But looking through Pugmire, that's the wrong chapter in Pugmire Unleashed. That's the Badger Clans. I have too many Word documents open. There we go. I'm just looking through the ones in Pugmire Unleashed to see if any fit with the wizard style things. They don't particularly, but it depends what kind of wizard you want it to be. So. I should point out the tricks that you get from your background usually relate to spending fortune, which is a shared resource. If you've played Storypath or Storypath Ultra, it's similar to Momentum, and it gives you a small bit of narrative control. Gives you the ability to say, "Hey, that person over there is someone from my background, or someone I can reasonably get in contact with who might have heard of me."
Could an illegal moonshiner be called a criminal?
Yes, you could also argue merchant, depending on how you how you're doing it. However, as there's also Crafter. If you particularly wanted to take a new one from Pugmire Unleashed.
I think it's just criminal would work well with Stray. It's like
Yeah, go for it.
I want to like keep my alcohol for the downtrodden. The rich can have their expensive alcohol. I will make mine for the lower ones. Those in need, those suffering from cold.
Ren, you're already gonna play a merchant tomorrow. Like,
I'm not
I
playing
get
a
it,
merchant.
dollar signs in your eyes, but calm down.
No, I'm giving it for free. Like I'm gonna play like a bit like a Friar Tuck from Robin Hood kind of character, just extremely massive, kind of chubby, and just giving alcohol to those in need. And from the rich people, I will like, oh yes, it's one of the most fancier alcohols. Please give me all your gold.
So we all need to prioritize vitality as one of our sets. Okay.
Yep. I got +3 vitality. Also, does vitality increase your stamina?
I believe so. Yes, your stamina is equal to a set number based on your calling plus your vitality.
Yes.
But we will obviously get to that. What's the phrase? In the fullness of time, I think it is the phrase. Does everyone have a background sorted?
Yeah, I think I'll go for the medic from the new book. That will help whenever we drink too much illegal moonshine.
Liquid IV, but
Yeah.
Pugmire edition, is it just what could it be, like rehydrated kibble?
Yes, exactly. I know the cure to hangover.
It's the hair of one of you actually. With all of that chosen, the next step is calling. Calling is your class. There's there's no point in using fancy language. It is your class. There are a list of callings, as you'd expect, in the core rulebook. Artisan is. I'll go through the core rulebook and then there are reptile callings in Pugmire Unleashed. There are also dog callings in Pugmire Unleashed as well, if anyone does want to check those out. But the ones in the core rulebook, we have Artisan, which is a dog dedicated to the study of magic. Guardian, that's what it sounds like. Hunter, again, it's kind of what it sounds like. Ratter is kind of the roguish approach. Shepherd is a member of the Church of Man, a priest, a cleric, if you will. And Stray is the nomadic wanderer, stalwart survivor, and the closest thing to a barbarian in the system. And then we have if I can find the right chapter, the Barguest. And this is from Pugmire Unleashed, the Barguest. You study the unseen to gain power. The unseen are demons. They are the root of all evil within the world. They are threats that must be guarded against, and they're one of the few things dogs and cats agree on. For different reasons, but still. Crusaders embody the code of man rather than simply living it. They use it as a pseudo-chivalric code. Gun dogs, you can probably guess what gun dogs use in combat. Gunpowder panic is a thing, so beware of that. I can't guarantee that if none of you have guns, that the enemies won't have guns. And there's also Scholar, which is kind of what it sounds like. And then just for the sake of completion, while people are making their decisions, for the audience's benefit, as I mentioned, there are reptile callings. Alchemists are spellcasters. They use potions, bombs, and bombs in place of traditional spellcasting. Mirages are the warriors of the reptile clan. The word has gone. I apologize.
Families.
Families. Thank you.
No.
A balance of grace and deadliness. Striders are somewhat akin to hunters. They are the nomads, if you will.
Yeah.
And weavers are entertainers, law keepers, things of that nature.
No, Joes, do not play another bard and throw this entire character in the trash. No.
Back to basics.
I am doing hunter.
Fantastic.
I'll go, I think, for the alchemists. Because that sounds fun, like you are using salt to power alchemy and potions, and that's fun.
It's definitely a neat take on spellcasting.
Yeah.
Everything is seasoned.
Exactly.
I'm gonna take the stray because it looks really, really cool.
Okay. Hunter, alchemist, stray. What are you going with, Josie?
I like magic. On the other hand, I cast gun.
It's a persuasive spell. It's effective.
I might be out of spells, but I'm not out of shells,
Hell yeah.
as they say. I have so many more of these.
Just so you are aware, if you do go with Gundog, you're immune to gunpowder panic.
What is gunpowder panic? And we just what is that? Is that oh no, gunpowder? Help! I am
will
scared.
find that for you. It's in exactly the same chapter, and then I will speed read it because I know what it used to be in Pirates of Pugmire. But obviously things have been
Gunpowder Rotschrik.
updated and mashed around to be improved. Where is it? Wait. Here we go. Anyone susceptible to gunpowder panic, i.e. the rest of the party, who is within earshot of a gun being fired or similar explosion, must make a presence test at difficulty 15. On a failure, they gain the deaf and scared conditions, and at the start of each of your turns, you can try the test again.
So that would be a lot of friendly fire.
Oh. It's up to you. Like, if you can leverage the situation such that your allies are not affected by it, if it helps you in any way, shape, or form, a flintlock pistol deals 1d10 damage. A blunderbuss deals 1d12 damage.
Totally different attributes than I picked for my scholar, but I could just...
If it helps, though, something important to note that I forgot. As they are your allies, they have a boon, which if advantage in other games, on the gunpowder panic test. So they're accustomed to it, but not immune to it.
Is it based on like the whole thing where there's this fireworks going off that dogs don't like it? Oh, there was like a giant thunderstorm here last evening. It was really bad. I had to think of all the poor puppies. Ren being one of them.
Yeah, I have a friend.
Sorry, I'm afraid of lightning.
That's okay.
You know, it's a valid fear. So yeah, if you want to be a gun dog, obviously it shows off material from the book, the new book, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
I'll take a shot at it.
Hey, what you did there? I see. So yeah, you'll need chapter 1 dogs open.
Yeah, I have it open.
It's cool.
What does that use? Agility and stamina. Okay. I'm going to switch over from a pointer to a runner.
Are we ready to move on to the assigning attributes step, or does anyone need more time to rejig things based on the primary attributes of their calling? It's going to be a very punny game. Unstable AS, yes. Yes, it is. So, step 4 of the process. Assign attributes. Adjust them based on your upbringing and mark primary attributes. This is on page 54 of the core rulebook. Your attributes are agility, physical coordination and dexterity, might, brute strength and the ability to apply physical force, vitality, overall hardiness and resistance to pain, cunning, wit, wisdom and common sense, intellect, mental skill and knowledge, presence, social awareness and personality. These can be ranked -3 to +5, and you can assign the following numbers: +2. Actually, I'll put this in the Zoom chat so you've got it to reference while doing this. But I'll still read it out for people who are not familiar with Realms of Pugmire. That should be a -1. I don't know why it did not copy the 1. You get 1 + 2, 2 + 1s, 2 zeros, and a -1. That is before your upbringing adjusts those figures. And oh my gosh, OBS is stable for once. What is this?
Wait, I got my attributes ready, so I'm gonna pop out for 1 second to refill my bowl of water.
Sure thing. Good old numbers.
Back.
Welcome back.
Do we count ammunition in this game?
Please give me 1 moment to scan rapidly through the text, but I don't think so.
If we don't count coins, I don't think we're counting
That
ammunition.
was exactly my thinking. It does not appear that you count ammunition. Yes, I thought so. So the ammunition weapon property, which firearms have, once you are assumed to have enough to use the firearm, and then after a fight, you make a cunning test, and if you fail, you're out of ammunition because you've just expended it all, and you have to find more. But you can obviously have more than one bandolier of ammunition or whatever.
Now the question is, do I go close or long range?
You can make that decision. Has everyone adjusted their assigned their attributes and applied their bonuses from their bringing?
Yep.
And mark your primary attribute, which your calling tells you what your primary attribute is. Oh, primary attributes, plural, sorry. Because that is very important to know. Those are basically the attributes that all of your tricks, most of your tricks will be using. And if you have to make a test, which for people more familiar with 5e, a saving throw, if it uses your primary attribute, you have a boon on the roll. So you roll 2d20 and pick the higher result. Because that's what you're more trained in. So once you've done that, the next step is calculate stamina dice, stamina points, and your experience bonus. Does lead me to a question, but first, stamina points is health. That's it. In other games, health, hit points, HP, call it what you will. Your upbringing will tell you, I believe, how many stamina points you get per level, and you add your vitality to that number. Important question. Do you want to play level 1 characters, or would you like to be a higher level? Obviously, the higher level you are, the more we have to go through for character creation, and the more stuff on your sheet that you have to familiarize yourself with. I'm good either way. I just need to know.
Level 1.
It's more fun at level 1 in Pugmire than it is in certain other D20 games. You are not likely to be slaughtered by a goblin.
The wizard falls down the stairs. He dies.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, falling down the stairs can be pretty deadly.
It can. It can.
But anyway, level puppy.
Fantastic. So, yes, just take whatever number is under your calling for stamina points, and then add your vitality to it, and that's your maximum stamina for this level. It will also tell you what stamina dice you have. That is what you roll to regain stamina points. If you have spell points, you can expend it to regain spell points instead of stamina points. I can't remember off the top of my head if alchemists have spell points. But
I don't know yet.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
I think. But we'll find out when you get to that trick. And then your experience bonus as level puppy characters is +1. This is added to skills you are proficient in, attack rolls and damage rolls for a weapon that you have an aptitude trick for. And if you are a spellcaster, it applies to attack rolls and the test difficulties to resist the spells that you're casting. You should also then... So, next step is skills. There's a sizable skill list. Your background should have given you 2 already. And your calling should give you... I believe it will give you a list, and you pick 2 from that list.
What should have given us skills?
Your background.
Okay. So I'm juggling 2 books and
Completely understand.
my brain is braining. Not very well.
Juggling 2 books with a language barrier. And I talk quickly. I apologize.
But then, Alain, what do you think of just doing this in French?
No. Weirdly enough, I haven't read a role-playing book in French in quite a while.
I have exactly 1 role-playing book in Dutch. 1. Because it was originally written in Dutch and then translated to English.
Amazing.
Because this is based on our local lore here.
Oh, nice. Nice.
If you do want to know what all of the various skills are, or mean, sorry, because your calling gives you a list to choose two from. All of the skills are on page 56 and 57 in the Realms of Pugmire book. And amazingly, there's even a skill tied to vitality.
And I'm so happy that Intimidate is finally under Might.
Yes. Although I'm happy for you to use whatever you want, really. It's a much more flexible system than other D20 based systems.
Using Vitality to intimidate by just drinking poison.
Exactly. I'd allow it. I mean, I'm a flexible GM guide, sorry, but anyway, I will work to tell the story you want to tell within the bounds of the game, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, you could use intimidation, like you could use anything for that. I intimidate with what's it here with agility? I'm hyper flexible. Ta-da!
I intimidate with intellect by reading a book, and everyone is afraid of nerds.
I intimidate with might by throwing the book.
I intimidate with vitality. I will eat your book.
Please stop eating.
Book.
Please stop eating books, Ryan. We need to move those.
It's how you win in Magic the Gathering. Eat the other person's deck.
That's true. If they can't draw cards because you've eaten the deck, they've lost.
With or without sleeves?
With.
Anyway, back on track. How are we on the skills front? We have 4 skills chosen each.
Working on it. For Gundog, it says like first tricks. Oh no, it's tricks. Never mind. I was looking at the wrong thing. Good job, Joes.
Yeah, it's like choose 2 from here. Have a whole list of skills.
It is. You get 1 trick from your calling, right? Or
no, you get a list of tricks from your calling. You get when we get onto tricks, which is the next step anyway. It's upbringing, background, and then the rest is your calling.
Okay. I'm trying to find the skills.
It's page 56.
For a different book, but I found it.
Page 11.
What? Why are you screaming at me, Cat?
Just to give the people watching a context, a sneak peek, if you will, of the content within Pugmire Unleashed. Just the dogs chapter is 44 sides of A4, without art. That's a lot of stuff. And, bonus, I'm pretty sure this is true, because it's true for every other Onyx Path crowdfunding campaign. If you pledge, you get access to the manuscript.
Alright, I got my skills.
Okay. We're all skilled up. Fantastic. Next step, tricks. So as I said, your upbringing should give you a trick, your calling should give you a trick, and then background should give you a trick, and then each calling gives you has a section of first tricks, I believe, or first trick, something like that. First tricks. Yes. You get everything under first tricks except where it says and choose a certain amount from this list. Aptitudes allow you to add your experience bonus to attack and damage rolls with the weapons that they apply to, and they also allow you to equip the armor that they say. They all start on page 57 in the core rulebook, or they're just under your calling in Pugmire Unleashed for ease of referencing. Arababble in chat with all of the dog emotes. Welcome in, Aaron. And obviously, if you're reading through the tricks and you have questions, please do feel free to ask. Common language, a boon is roll 2d20, keep the highest. A hindrance is roll 2d20, keep the lowest. A test is a saving throw in other d20 games. A check is an ability check. An ability check in other games.
And refinements happen when you level up, right?
Yes, they allow you to improve a trick that you have rather than taking a new trick.
About your calling specific tricks that are not first ones, how many do we pick for now? I might have.
0.
Okay, good. I am getting ahead of myself.
You take tricks when you level up because you learn new tricks, and then you hit level 10 and you can't teach an old dog new tricks, so you retire your character. That's not my joke. You can thank Eddie for that.
I do not know who that person is. However,
Eddie Webb is the genius behind Pugmire itself.
I have trouble remembering names and faces.
That's fair. He is an all-round great person and a pleasure to write for.
The great Pug himself.
Yes.
So how does magic work? Because I'm going to have the alkaline magics.
Yes.
Trick. So I understand that I learn a certain number of basic spells, which I assume are at will.
Yes.
Then I know 2 magnitude 1 spells.
Yes. So there is in Pugmire Unleashed there is a list of reptile specific spells that are not. So it's basically most of those spells you'll find in the core Realms of Pugmire book. Some of them are reptile specific, and they're just beneath the reptile callings in the chapter. So yes, as you figured out, basic spells are at will. It's kind of cantrips in other games, and then magnitude 1 costs 1 spell point to cast. Magnitude 2 costs 2, etc. Some spells will have an option, to improve them.
Okay. But I imagine that we are not. You need to be at a high level enough to improve them.
No, as long as you've got the spell points, you can
Okay.
you can cast them at that. That magnitude is technically incorrect. As long as you've got the spell points to cast a spell and its improvements, you can cast the spell with the improvement.
That's awesome. And how do I know how many spell points or magic points do I have?
I will check that in the core book for you.
Okay.
Where is it? Level 1 spellcasters start with spell points equal to 2 plus their vitality modifier.
Oh, so I need to have vitality.
So the higher vitality you have, the more spells you can cast.
Okay. It was not my dumb stat.
That's lucky.
All right. Interesting. So.
If you have any spells with improvements that you can also combine the improvements for the the greater cost obviously going to be much higher, but you get all of the effects that you pay for.
All right.
Are you hungry? I just fed you.
So, are there any questions about any more questions? Sorry about calling stuff.
Not really. Just that there are a lot of them.
Yeah, but fortunately, it is just a hey, you get this list of tricks and one of these.
Also, I see with some tricks, fortune. What does fortune mean?
Fortune is a shared player resource that you earn through a variety of ways, and you do start with some fortune. I'll be keeping track of it in the Zoom chat.
Fantastic.
Because I forgot to ask Travis to include a space for it on the overlay. And yeah, you just spend it to do the effect that the trick says.
I have all my tricks, but I'm just adding some extra information on my sheet on what they mean. So I have those ready when the game starts next time.
That is a fantastic idea. I'm a big fan of the here's my character sheet and here's my Word document with everything written out.
Power of Control-C, Control-V.
Exactly. If anyone is interested for the Exalted Essence game, happening tomorrow afternoon, for me and Bliss at the very least, my Word document is sizable. Let's say I think that's the best word I can use to describe it, with all of the charm information I need.
Yeah.
That's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
It's fine. It's only 19 pages. 5,500 words. Fine.
Okay.
And that's the streamlined version of Exalted. I see Unstable has agreed with me about Eddie Webb. Great guy. Also made a great game. Are we all good with the tricks, or do you need some more time to copy paste text over?
I'm just looking for one in specific, is that will be important.
Mm-hmm.
The unarmored defense one.
Yes, that will be slightly important for you as a stray. Fortunately, all the tricks are organized by calling.
As a gun dog for like the primary attributes, I have stamina as one of them. I don't really have a checkbox next to stamina.
Oh, that will be a typo. It'll be vitality.
Okay, that makes a tiny bit more sense. Thank you.
Hey, reminder, this manuscript is 95%. That final 5% is art and polish.
Happy to point that out for you on the stream with people watching. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll check who's in chat. As far as I'm aware, no one in chat actually works on the game, apart from myself, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Can't speak for the video on demand, however. Did you find an armored defense, Ren?
Yes, I did. Now I'm doubting if I should take rage or unarmored defense.
Do you want to hit harder or be harder to hit?
Well, if you hit hard enough, nobody will hit you ever again.
That is true. I'm a big fan of that policy. Also, really, as I say to Unstable Days a lot, because I mentioned that on my Twitch channel a fair amount, the only hit point that matters is the last one.
Yeah, true. And with rage, even if they hit me, they hit less hard.
Exactly.
Also a boon on attack rolls. Hell yeah.
Yep, for those watching who are unfamiliar, Rage gives you a boon. So roll 2d20 and pick the high result on all might checks and attack rolls, and you double your experience bonus on melee damage rolls. So at this level, that's a mighty additional +1 damage. But you'd also take half damage from blunt edged and stabbing damage.
If I'm correct, just to go over things because my brain is not braining, you only get an attribute bonus from your upbringing.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, then I am very specialized.
That's fine. Because I'm going to actually send me your character sheets anyway, and then I can figure out how to showcase your specialism. To be like, hey, this character is cool. Ignore the fact that the rest of the party panics any time they do something. This character.
They call me post-traumatic stress disorder.
And I'm here with some salt to heal your mental wounds.
Everyone knows.
I thought
Just Himalayan rock salt. It's got homeopathic remedies. Benefits, apparently.
I put rock salt in my blunderbuss. I learned this from Supernatural.
Yes. It'll kill a ghost, but not a human. We get to move on. Keep things moving. After tricks.
I got everything I should need.
Fantastic. After tricks, it is equipment in your rucksack. Your calling and your background give you equipment. It's all very loosey-goosey. But, you know, if you find a use for it, hell yeah.
Are there specific firearms? Because it just says firearm.
Yes. If you scroll down to new rules on page 11 of the Dogs chapter from Pugmire Unleashed, and if you scroll a bit further down to page 12, there are 3: blunderbuss, flintlock, and wheel lock.
What is a wheel lock?
It's a primitive style of black powder firearm. I'll send you a picture via the Discord server. It's pretty cool, but was, you know, not as successful as flintlocks.
Mm-hmm.
Where did Discord go? I closed Discord like a fool. Absolute fool. Basically, instead of a flint and steel, it just uses a wheel, hence the name, to create spark through friction. Kind of went matchlock, wheel lock, flintlock. Very reductive terms. Please, no firearms enthusiasts attack me.
And reloading, how does that go? Because in real life, in real terms, it's like I shoot my blunderbuss. Now I'll have to reload this thing for 5 solid minutes before I can use it again.
You can only fire once per turn. So at higher levels, you might gain more attacks, but you can only use that specific firearm for one of those attacks, just because it does take, as you pointed out, time to reload.
Okay, but not like 5 minutes in a corner. Like, hold on, guys.
No. There's a certain degree of narrative convenience being imposed here.
I'm gonna put the blunder in blunderbuss.
Hell yeah. For those of you players and audience members familiar with other D20 games, the damage types have been renamed, but you'll probably still be able to figure out what they are. Apart from 2, I think 2 of them are the same. But it's kind of usually your like specific calling equipment has been acquired under unusual circumstances. If you want to put thought into that, by all means go ahead. But that's more of like a role-playing prompt for more than 3-session games. Oh, sweet. The next thing is on page 69, which, as we're on the internet, I'm legally obliged to say, nice. Calculating your remaining traits. Armor. Well, one, Ren, did you go for unarmored defense or rage in the end?
No, I went for rage.
Fantastic. So if you're not wearing armor, it's 10 plus your agility modifier. If you are wearing armor, light armor is 11 plus your agility modifier, and medium armor is 13 plus your agility modifier. Don't think any of you have heavy armor.
I have no armor. I didn't get any armor.
You just get damage reduction and stuff. Your initiative is your agility modifier. It's important to note, those of you familiar with D20 games, that there's no initiative order. It uses what's called popcorn initiative in other games, in that whoever wins the initiative roll, they get the first turn. They decide who it goes to, then they decide who it goes to, and as long as everyone gets to everyone has to act in a round before you can act again. But that includes me, or that includes the monsters on the field. So if you do it wrong, not wrong, if you choose like all the players to go first, leaving only the monsters can go and then immediately pass it back to themselves at the start of the next round. So something to bear in mind. And speed is how fast a dog can move on their turn. Dogs have a 30 can move 30 feet per turn, and they can run on all fours at 40 feet per turn, unless a trick says otherwise. I don't know about reptiles, Alan. I'm just scrolling frantically.
I have not read anything about speed in the reptile chapter, so...
Speed is a certain salt you should try to make really good.
Yeah. Yes.
Is this under reptiles? Nope. That's a thing. I would assume it's the same then.
Probably.
So that's fine. And then you will have 3 personality statements. Drive, inspiration, weakness. Drive is an ideal you believe in most strongly. For dog characters, it is I'm a good dog because I. There are specific ones for the reptile, I believe. Like I'm a clever reptile, for example. Inspiration is I'm inspired by my bond to. So it's a connection to something else in the world, character, place, organization, past event. Can be another player character. And your weakness is a flaw, compulsion, or fear that your character has. And that sentence begins, no matter what, I just can't. And I like the balance of just having 3 things to remember. And I'm always a fan of a character creation system that gives you a tie to the world from the get-go.
Where can we find the list of tricks explained?
The basic tricks, if it's not under the Gundog section, it's on page 56, I think, of the core rulebook. It's the huge... No, that's the skills. 57 is where the tricks start, and then they're separated by background, upbringing, and calling.
What kind of thing should inspiration be in personality?
Please give me 1 second. The inspiration statement is a connection to something else in the world, another character, a specific place, an organization, or a past event. Can even be another player character. That bond, like a drive, helps to motivate the dog to do heroic deeds, or sometimes to make mistakes in the name of protecting their inspiration. And that starts with, I am inspired by my bond too, and then you finish that sentence.
Having a boot on initiative. Oh, lovely.
When did my microphone decide to mute?
I have no clue.
1 minute ago, I think.
Cool. Did you hear my thing about naming the dog? That was the kind of the most important thing for you. That's the final step. Name your dog.
No, I didn't.
Cool. Grand. So yeah, a while ago. Cool. I've been having tech problems recently, so that's cool. I was just saying, all I was talking about to myself, apparently, was that while you were naming your dogs and sorting out your personality statements, the dogs chapter in Pugmire Unleashed is 44 pages without art and layout. The Badger Clans is 51 pages without art, without layout. And the everything else is 90 pages without art and without layout. And that's birds, reptiles, and lagomorphs. New callings, new tricks. Whole lot of good stuff, and it was a delight not taking part in the conversations that the other contributing writers were having as they were developing the new options, but just seeing the enthusiasm they had for them.
That's going to be a lot to read.
Yep, but it's all top tier, top quality stuff. But that is it. You should have a full character sheet by now.
Yippee!
Yay!
So my proposal, because I'm having a real bad day with voice dysphoria, yay, is if you could send me your characters through the Discord server after you've finished them to your happiness, so I can look over them, and then I'm going to copy these questions into the characters channel of the Discord server. Or if you want to post your character in that channel, that works as well. But something to think about ideally before we start next Thursday. But I'm nothing if not confident in my skills to improvise. What you want to see in the game, and if there's anything you want me to include, showcase your character. As a corollary to that, if you can't think of anything specific you want me to include, if there is anything on a character sheet you think would be cool to highlight, that works too.
Is good for me.
I still need to decide which spells I know.
Mhm.
But I think I'll go over that this week and
Yep, that's fine. And if you have, if you want to like run some by me, that's
Yep.
fine too. See if, not obviously that I'm an expert on these things, but more like if you want to check that it's going to be a useful spell. Although
Yeah.
if you pick it, that's an indication to me that you want to use it. So
yeah, it would be a shame not to use.
but I completely understand there are too many options here thing.
Yeah.
So
Yes. And is it a game that is going to focus more on the let's use the 3-pillar analogy, even so combat, exploration, and social encounters. How do you see the balance in the game during this, well, between these pillars?
I'm going to try to balance them all equally, but obviously that's a really difficult thing to do, particularly with people I have never. I mean, obviously I've played games with most of you before, but I've never, not in any great detail, gotten to know how you work at the table. But there will be opportunities for all three to be, used. So if for example, Bliss, I think you said you're playing a hunter or
Yes.
runner. Yeah. So that's obviously going to lean more towards the exploration side of things. So there will be bits of each. It's I'm not one. I personally am not a fan of. Hey, it's an all combat thing. I get that. It works for some people. I don't want to yuck their yum. I'm not saying that their fun is wrong. I'm just saying it's not for me, and therefore that's not how I run games. But equally, I know obviously Ren has nipped to the toilet, but is there any weighting that you as players would like to see between combat, social, and exploration?
For me, as long as it's, let's say, more or less not equally distributed, because obviously it's hard to balance, but have opportunities for a bit of each would be fine for me.
Yeah, obviously I can't. It's not that we're like session 1 is all exploration, session 2 is all social, session 3. Are you ready for a 3-hour combat at level 1?
Please go no.
Yeah, I know that like one of the core things from reading the book is like discovering artifacts of old
Mhm.
from the time of man. So it would be cool to like see what we can uncover as well as the kind of baddies that we can fight. So yeah, mixture, a little balance would be cool.
Fantastic. Yeah. Like full disclosure, for my players and for the people watching this while the campaign is before the book is out, I have been asked not to run any of the adventures in the book, so that's all fresh for backers and or people buying the book, which is good because I wasn't going to anyway. But it is a wholly original adventure. You don't need to know any of the lore with what I've got in mind. So you don't need to obsessively read the setting information from both books. I will be using, because I don't see why I wouldn't, I will be using some of the antagonists that I created for this, but that's kind of it. Just read as much or as little of the setting information as you want, and if you're watching this, don't expect to find this adventure in the book. For what it's worth, my players don't have, as far as I'm aware, the adventure chapter anyway, so I don't think I shared that with you because I was asked not to use it on stream. So I can absolutely balance the 3 pillars as best as possible.
I'm still filling in my attacks because that might be important for me. And I'm looking through the weapons, getting a simple weapon. It says modifier next to attack. Is that something that is normally blank, or am I missing something?
Oh, on the character sheet. So that's your brain has gone. That's your attack bonus. in other games. So, which weapon are you looking at?
I'm looking at the blunderbuss and I'm looking at the dagger, but the dagger first.
Okay,
It's
so
got finesse and
finesse allows you to choose between agility or might.
I think that might be agility.
I'm assuming that one is perhaps the higher of the two.
Perchance. Mayhaps.
I'll just double check if firearms have drastically changed the rules on ranged attacks.
Because what I'm finding on blunderbuss is ammunition, range, gunpowder, loading, 2-part, and 1d12 stabbing, but not the modifier.
Yeah, I'm assuming like most ranged attacks it'll be agility, but please bear with me 1 second. Ranged weapons add the dog's agility modifier. So it's just in the core rulebook.
I messed up.
Agility.
Fix that.
And I might write out the gunpowder
Is
panic rules and stick them on a post-it so I can remember them. Sorry,
Is
Bliss.
it plus your XP experience bonus?
Yes, if you have the aptitude for it, so it's like a simple weapon, you have simple weapon aptitude, you add your experience bonus to your attribute and to the damage roll as well. And if that's wrong, I don't care, that's the rule we're using.
My modifier for short bows is very high. Yay. Because I have the archery trick.
So just to like break it down in case it's needed or people watching to fill the dead air, your attack modifier is might if it's a melee weapon, ranged if it's a agility if it's a ranged weapon, finesse allows you to choose, and so you add that and your experience bonus, and then damage rolls is the weapon's damage die plus your attribute plus your experience bonus. Which means that the higher level you are, the more damage you inherently do. Because it feels awful rolling a 1 on the damage die and doing nothing.
So with a might +2, my attack will do a +3, and if I'm raging, a +4.
Yes, exactly. And because form-fillable PDFs aren't always the easiest to use, if you don't make a note of the damage type, it's fine. I'm going to have the rulebook open anyway.
The only problem is the font for the damage is too big.
Yeah.
Can't see the whole thing.
Curses. But that is the end of character creation. Once Josie's finished filling in the empty boxes. Too many empty boxes.
I hope I filled this in correctly. If not, contact me after the weekend.
Yep, that's fine. I may be kicking myself right about now. I was trying to find a player questionnaire earlier and I thought it was in Silent Book, but it might actually just, for this very session, but it might actually be in the Realms of Pugmire rulebook. Oh god, it is. I don't know why I thought it was in the Silent Book.
Whoopsie doopsie.
Well. I'll post the questions in the Discord server once we're done, because they are more of a, like, take these away and think about them questions.
This is important. The curse words of this game.
Yes. What? So, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm pretty sure that you need to agree that you're okay with mature language when you join the channel to watch an actual play here. What do people want to go for?
No, just like there's like a little fun list
What page?
calling people kitty lovers.
Let's not.
Yeah.
Wait.
I'm going to veto that one right there.
It's
How is that an insult exactly?
it's a dismissive term for somebody who prefers cats over dogs.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Could you please say t instead of d?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Ah.
That sounds wrong.
it's an accent issue.
Mm.
My personal feeling with in-world cursing is, if you can remember it, sure, by all means. But if
Yeah,
you
I'm
have to
definitely not gonna remember.
fall back on the real world analog, that's fine too. In terms of just overall language, I just ask that you keep it as, like, I'm not saying you can't curse, but just in moderation, please and thank you.
I'll try my best.
Thank you, Josie. I see that, don't worry.
What have I gotten myself into?
Behaving, apparently. And just as a final bit of just cool, neat stuff for people who are... This isn't player facing at all, but people who are going to watch this actual play and are like, yeah, I could run Pugmire seems like a fun game to run. The core rulebook does have a small section on hacking the game to do what you want it to do. So, like, dynastic play, or playing beyond level 10, which is functionally the level cap. Cross-calling tricks and different ways of playing. I think that covers everything though for session 0.
Yep.
No.
Is there anything you as the players would like to discuss or ask while you have me right now? I'm going to take that resounding silence as a no.
Just want to thank you for your patient explanation.
Not a problem at all, I assure you. I like helping people learn new systems. I like running games, and I am emotionally no unstable as. I mean, technically, you could play Smilodon if you wanted, I guess, but the guidance isn't in the rulebook for it. You'd have to figure that out yourself. And yes, for reference, Smilodons are considered non-playable for very, very good reasons. Yes, I like. I was saying, I'm emotionally invested in the book because every backer is emotionally validating me and my contributions to the book. I don't care if they don't like the monsters. The fact that they've bought into the book means that I at least did a good enough job for that. We'll see how the monsters go. I realise I've shot myself in the foot because none of them are designed for level 1 characters. I will work that out myself. That's a me problem. In which case, let's go... let's just do the outro in the same order. Alan, if you would care to. Except this time, if you have a character name, upbringing, and calling, please.
Yes. So my character is Iris. She is a lizard of the reptile group. She's a medic and an alchemist, so she uses salts to cast spells and create bones and charms.
Fantastic. And you yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm Anangiola Hihian. You can find me on the Onyx Path Discord, notably in the Scardlands section, and also in the community content programs.
And if you haven't, check out all of Alan's community content because it is top quality material.
Yes. And we, I mean, we, a lot of it is also collaborations with a lot of great people.
As someone who's collaborated with you, thank you. I appreciate that. Bliss, again, who you are, and then what you did on hiatus from, and your character, if you please.
I am Bliss Steel. You can go to blisssteel.com if you are over 18 to check me out. I used to stream, but I am on hiatus now because I am pregnant. And my character is Maya Pyrenees. She is a runner, free dog hunter, so she likes the company of the wilderness over cities and people, and she likes the mountains where she spends most of her time. And yeah, likes to hunt big game, stuff like that.
Amazing. That vibes so well with my plans.
Nice.
Josie, same thing.
Hi, my name is Josie. You can find me on most social media as Josie because having your first name as your username is a massive flex. I will be soon playing Beretta the gun dog Borzoi because I felt like being edgy and a little soldier. Because I have PTSD, so everyone else will have PTSD. Pew.
Disclaimer: tabletop role-playing games are not an adequate replacement for therapy.
I'll have you know that my therapist says something otherwise.
Okay, they're a supplement for therapy. They're not, you know, on
Not a
their
replacement.
own. A replacement. That's the word. Thank you, Bliss.
Like a little vitamin B12 for your therapy.
And Ren.
Hi, I am still Ren. I am going to play Friar, the Saint Bernard Mud Criminal. I am gonna drink a lot of things, make people drink a lot of things, and stick it to the rich people while making the downtrodden a bit more happy. And try to be a good dog in the meanwhile. And you can find me nowhere because I have no social media presence because I am old.
I mean, that's as much of a flex as having your username as your first name.
The duality of man.
Yeah. I am social media. I'm not social media. And yeah, I'm Ryan. I'll be playing every other character in the world, as well as the world itself. I'm a contributing writer to the book, which is available on Backerkit right now. It's a book, Pugmire Unleashed. It's tariff-free because it's PDF and print on demand. It's a thing they're trialing, and honestly, as a European fan of Onyx Path Publishing, it's hella nice. Not feeling excluded by shipping costs for those pretty books. But if you back it, I believe at basically any level, you gain access to manuscript previews. So if you enjoy what we have been talking about today and are intrigued, I can't remember what chapter's out right now. I'm assuming it's the dog chapter, because they usually release the book in chapter order. You'll be able to read along and find out what we've been talking about. This actual play should be around 3 sessions long, and as far as I'm aware, it is going up on the Onyx Path's YouTube channel. Onyx Path Publishing's YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@theonyxpath. If you are not a subscriber to the Twitch channel, you will have to wait at least a week to watch it. But if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link that to Twitch for a Prime Gaming account. I still call it Twitch Prime in my head, which gives you 1 free subscription a month. That gives you all of the same benefits as a normal Tier 1 subscription, which here is emotes, access to the videos instantly without having to wait for the YouTube upload or for a week to pass. Question: This new book supplements the Realms of Pugmire book, correct? Yes, on Stebades. For Realms of Pugmire, for the second edition of the game, Realms of Pugmire is the core rule book. Everything else is an expansion. So, Curious Cats of Mao is an expansion. This is an expansion, or supplement, I guess is the right word. And Threats and Curs, which doesn't have player-facing material, but that is also a supplement because it's a manual of monsters, if you will. I think was the phrase. But we should be back next Thursday around the same time. We'll be running slightly longer next Thursday, obviously, because we're not making characters. We'll be into the actual game itself, and we hope that it'll be fun and that we will all have a good time and that we see you again. But until next time, bye.
Oh.